Alright, welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classic Legend Known Classics. This is episode number 20, no, not 20, it's 3120, and Doubleshot number 3014. Me. So, we are here discussing Firestorm, Volume 2, issues 31 to 53, and annuals 3 and 4 of the series. Pretty much in the way we're discussing the remainder of Gerry, Conway, and Joey Cabrelli's run for this very title. In the opening first few issues, basically you have Plastic and the original Killer Frost teaming up for a story, which involves him leaving, and then later on he ends up fighting Weasel. By issue 40, he's about to graduate high school. Yep, though the issue opens quite interestingly of him being accused of being a cheater because apparently he did too well on his test. And he's like, he accused Cliff Carmichael of saying that he was the one who did it. And later on, because he basically tried to insult him, he proceeded to punch him. One of 2 times he did this. The other time was somehow, someway, when he was on the college football team, he was accused of taking drugs because I thought he was being too good. And he basically got into a fight with, and apparently accused his own father of believing somebody without no evidence to support the fact he was taking drugs. None. Later on, of course, Professor Stein does talk to him about the fact that he was actually with him the whole time. He was discussing about his future with Doreen, his girlfriend. There's something a lot of the time in the book he's also kind of cheating on her with Firehawk. Yes. Yeah, and eventually, at one point, Firehawk is kind of dismissed from the book for a bit. Yes. Yeah, 40 is basically the graduation issue. Doreen Day, is she Firehawk? No, it's a completely different character. She's the one who actually... She does date Ronnie Raymond. Also, the character Jefferson Jackson, who in the TV show, who became... he actually became Firestorm in Flash and Legends of Tomorrow. Yeah, they kind of retired the character by issue 34 of this book. Yes, for some strange reason, well, the Earth 1 version of the character, he gets retired. Yep, as for... Oh, weird thing about these issues is that we have Killer Frost in these issues, except that she looks like... Well, at this point, it's Louise Lincoln, who is Killer Frost, because Caitlin Frost, the original one, died. And she died in issue 21 of the book, and for some reason they had to look like her, because I thought this was Crystal Frost based on the artwork. Nope, it's somebody else. So yeah, so the whole thing with Killer Frost and Plastic, so basically that lasts for a good 5-ish issues. Yeah, this whole story with these two teaming up for a story arc. Yeah, they're just here just for... actually by issue 36. And by that point, Plastic herself is written out of the series. Yeah, I think she leaves to go over to the pages of Captain Adam for some strange reason. Killer Frost, meanwhile, though... So she basically becomes Killer Frost issue 34. Yeah. So... Louise herself, does she would continue appearing after this? Oh, yeah. Though she leaves the book with issue 36, comes back in issue 63. Well after Gerry Conway left the book. And 37 begins the Weasel, well, the stuff with... the stuff here basically with the college life. Of course, Gerry Conway doing some writing here with this one. And this is where they bring back the Weasel. And also in these issues where... By the way, this Weasel got killed off in the New Patrol Suicide Special. Yeah. Weasel, this was a new Weasel who appeared for 35-39. Yeah. Though, also in these issues, basically, where Felicity Smoke decided to file a lawsuit, a $1 million lawsuit, against Firestorm for ruining her company, and later on, she decides to dismiss the thing because of the fact that he actually gave a good speech. The fact that he didn't ask for these powers. He just used them because he likes helping people. Yeah. So, the whole high school stuff, it's kind of wrapped up by issue 40. Because basically at that point, by issue 40, the whole high school life for Ryan Raymond's wrapped up and he basically goes to college. But before that, 40 will have a tie into Crisis Over Nerfs, where he meets up with the Psycho Pirate, a character he never sees ever again after this. A very interesting take on basically him interacting with Psycho Pirate, a character who at this point was from Earth 2, and this is of course around the same time Crisis Over Nerfs happened. And here's the weird thing related to this issue. Is this issue and the next issue are tie-ins to Crisis Over Nerfs. The next issue focuses on Firehawk team with Wonder Girl. And thinking, really? Oh yeah, really? And eventually this person that worked together, I'm like, when did they did? I thought it was kind of weird. So, she basically by 36, she was out of the book. She came back for this very issue, and then this would be her last time she appeared in a Gerry comic book, because she returned when the guy who became regular afterwards, she became a regular supporting character in the book until the book's end. They came back for Volume 3, which we'll discuss that at some other point. And they team up with Tomahawk and Dan Hunter from the pages of Stars Comics. It's really interesting here. The cover says, "Oh, first time they ever met, they just somehow worked together by right away." Yeah, that's what the book is written. And then we have the return of Typhoon and Multiplex. Yes, they return in here. Typhoon, who debuted in the backup feature for Flash. Yeah, and this is actually his return to the book. First time since issue 9. And he's here for these 2 issues, and he comes back after Conway leaves. Multiplex, who is definitely a Gerry Conway creation. Does he appear continuing after these issues? He appears up into issue 47. Yeah, that's when they kind of wrap up the whole thing. Goes, yeah, Bolt, Slipknot, Mindbender. Yeah, really cool stuff here. And that's also with Blue Devil. Yep, Blue Devil. 47's debut of a very new character, though he's just a SWAT person. He appears very briefly in this book. Like 47 is his debut, and he's here for some of the issues by Conway, and then he's written out the book when the successor writer takes it on board. But it seems like Conway is kind of like trying to basically have it where, let's have basically Firestorm in his remaining year on the book run the frickin' gauntlet after a couple of ships team up, and then we have in 45 we have return of Bolt, Hyena, Slipknot, and Mindblogger. Yeah. Who got killed off early on in Suicide Squad. Our first appearance actually was issue 29 of Firestorm. Her name was Leah Westman. Yeah, by 47 she's written out of the book. Yeah, 47 is her last appearance in the book. Slipknot. Yes. So, this 3-part storyline, the first time he appears since his debut back in age 28. He will return a couple issues after this, and that's be it. Hyena. It's his girlfriend's sister. Well, at this point, his ex-girlfriend's sister. Yeah. And she's also in the book too. It's like, yeah, I guess basically Conway's like, yeah, I'm gonna wrap the book up soon, so I'm gonna wrap my run. So I'm gonna basically have my personal creation run the frickin' gauntlet by battling a whole bunch of villains. Also have a guest appearance by by Blue Devil. Yeah. Because after these issues, like, a lot of these characters, like, he just created, basically are dropped. kind of got to continue on here. After the gauntlet for a few issues, then we're introduced a brand new character named Moonbow. Yeah, she becomes a recurring character in these issues. Yeah, another fairly new character that Gerry Conway creates toward the end of his time in the book. She appears for 2 straight issues, and then she returns afterwards. Yes, after a 2-part storyline where she's like a vigilante who appears in the city that Firestorm is based in. And then by the 50th issue, they changed the logo of the book, where it's like the Firestorm is big, and then of course it's like small. Yeah, and he faces a guy called Aviator. Otherwise, it was Captain X. Yeah, he faced up against him for this one issue. And then in the third to last issue, which, by the way, they continue this logo for... Let me show the logo here. So, when the book first started, this here was the logo for the book. And then with issue 50 of this very book... Go away, please. Thank you. By issue 50, they changed the logo to look like this. And, little fun fact, it remained this logo for the remainder of the series. Yep. So in issue 51, he faced off against Eddie Stick, who is just a brand new character for him to fight for these couple issues before it comes back on doing the Accessoriator. Looks like he fights a monster, a wrestler. Yeah, this is where all the drug thing comes in, with him being accused by... actually, Clifford's not here. And then by the final issue, basically, well, they debut one, I guess, kind of like, yeah, let's debut one more villain called Silver Shade. A character who appeared once. But we're not done just yet. Oh, no. By the way, Cliff Carmichael... Yes, you would think that after he would leave, would he be featured afterwards? Basically, his parents got reduced. This will be his last time he was written by Gerry Conway. In this book, he appeared a few times on the Successor Writer, but that was simply it. But we're not done just yet. Oh no. We still have 2 more annuals to discuss here that Gerry Conway wrote. First will be number 3, where it is basically Firestorm versus Sparks, who is just a one-shot character. Also in these issues, toward the very end, Felicity Smoke and Ronnie's father get married. Yep, they get married right after Felicity drops a lawsuit. You're like, really? Oh yeah, really? Yeah. I think this happens, that happened just before the final annual. Yeah. So... they got married in the 50th issue of the book. Yeah, and the whole thing is we're looking for his father. Eventually he does find his father in this multi-epic story. Yes, it's a multi-chapter issue. You have Venom, One Man's Poison, Chasing Fever's Dream, Pretty Teeth, Fear City, Serpentine, The Desert and Men's Souls, and Epilogue. The whole annual was done by Gerry Conway with multiple artists. For his last annual, he went out with a bang with this thing. Then prologue, Raphael Kahn. Dick Giordano does the second story. Third is Gene Cullen. Fourth, Kurt Swan. 5, Al Bogum is co-creator. Also co-creator of Firestorm. We also have Martin King, Keith Geffen, and also, of course, the other Raphael Ginn. And that's pretty much, in a way, Gerry Conway's run on Firestorm. These issues are fantastic. Not a bad issue. It's just amazing issues. Overall, I give Firestorm Volume 2 issues 31 to 53, along with annuals 3 and 4, a 10 out of 10. Final thoughts on Gerry Conway's run for Firestorm. He had an amazing time with this book. It clearly shows that he deeply cared about this character. He basically proved the fact that yes, he's a competent character, and And he probably, my guess is when he did this book is probably as part of a, my guess is the reason why he decided to stop doing this book. I think he was leaving DC Comics at this point because he had a 3-year tenure on Batman. So he probably figured at this point in time, maybe I should probably have my run on Firestorm. And going 53 issues is really good. Sadly, the book would last for another 47 issues before getting canceled and having one more annual. But if you're curious, having more writers basically were happening after this. Only 2. We have Paul Kubrick doing the very next issue. When I come back to this book, I will also talk about who's actually succeeded Gerry Conway as regular writer after Paul Kubrick basically did fill an issue before he came back. I'll talk about it later on, but great book. Next up we have is JLA Classified. We're here for this book here. We're discussing the first 3 issues of this book, along with issues 10 to 15. Now, the opening 3 issues of this book are done by Grant Morrison, with Ed McGuinness in the artwork. Where, basically in these issues, the Justice League has gone missing, so you have Prometheus, yes, Prometheus, fighting Gorilla Grodd, and the whole thing is trying to figure out what Justice League is, and Squire, who is technically not a Grant Morrison creation, she's here looking for Justice League. And Batman is here too, because of course he is. Yeah. And of course the issue ends with him seeing a bunch of Manhunter robots. In issue 2, yeah, it's basically in a way, like after, yeah, of course working with Squire here, they do find the Justice League, and of course we have them fighting, well, their own robot duplicates. It's a very interesting story arc. Oh yeah, and then we find them at the end of the issue called Ultramarines, what they're called. Yep. And then, thank you. As for the last issue of this story arc here, yeah, basically we have the epic battle between these 2 teams. Yep, and that takes up the finale for the story arc. It's good, really good. I'm skipping over issues 4 through 9 because that was the Super Baddies arc, and well, that was it's a follow up to I Can't Believe It's Not Justice League, but that was collected that trade there. So we're skipping straight through issues 10 to 15 here, where we have another British writer as the writer of these issues. Because first we have Grant Morrison, we have another British writer, that being Warren Ellis. And you also have Booch Gooch in the artwork. And it's basically called New Maps of Hell. Or basically this wonderful artwork here, where these 2, where basically it's a lot of like, it feels like a very Bat-centric story here. Plus, love this image, this panel here by Booch Gooch. It's not exactly a full image of the cape, but basically it's just a good heads-up display of the cape. It's so good. He puts on a suit. And of course, Superman goes out too, obviously. You have Batman investigating murder. You have Wonder wearing a different outfit than usual, wearing like a Wonder Girl costume. And we have like things exploding with mascara. And a lot of this storyline here is basically just like versus like gods. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of in a way what these issues are. It's basically, by the way, the cover art here is by Michael Stromberg. I've seen his artwork also on some other books that are very adult oriented. Yes, there's also a guest appearance. There's also a supporting appearance here by Lois Lane, Linda Park, and Oracle. And basically, it's a big build-up, basically, who the villain is, who's behind everything. Yep. And eventually, also with Lex Luthor here, too. Yes. Where he basically they convinced that they can handle this threat. Mm-hmm. And this storyline wraps up roughly with issue number 15. Yeah. And oh yeah, it's election year. Yeah. They did wrap the story up by issue number 15 before I go into another story arc with the very next issue we'll discuss in our point. But very interesting issues. Very interesting. What storyline is better? I did enjoy the first arc here. Second story I thought was interesting at best. Probably the most interesting thing was them going to the White House confronting Lex Luthor. Yep. But not much to say about these issues. I'm going to give JLA Classified 1 through 3 and 10-15 a 8.5 out of 10. Yep. So yeah, that's a particular review. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications. I may have one video tonight, but it depends. Okay? But next video. Bye.